Hey everybody, and welcome back to What's Dylan Doing. It's a show about things that I've got going on in my life. We are in the Potter House Project room, and today we're going to be talking about home automation with Alexa. And I'm going to be using that word quite a bit in this video, so if you have any smart devices in your house, you probably want to mute them for the duration of this video, or else it's going to get pretty annoying. So in the last video, I made the television frame that you can see behind me, and I showed you a small glimpse of the wall sconces on either side of it, and they were lit up and they looked all cool. But I didn't really talk about them or what went into making them. But I kind of wanted to save that for a whole nother video because there's a lot that goes into it, and it's got my head spinning with some ideas. So basically, those wall sconces are real gas lamps that I found at a rummage sale or a thrift store or something like that ages ago. And I always had the thought in mind that I was going to wire them with lamp kits and put some flame LED bulbs inside them, and I made that happen. But what I didn't know that I was going to do was use a smart plug to power them. Now I have an Alexa smart device in my house. I have several actually, and I have smart bulbs in my bedroom. I have the smart plugs hooked up to my gecko terrariums, which turns on and off their lights and their misting machine, and they have like a fogger that's powered by a smart plug. So it gave me the idea to use it with these lamps. Not only to make it easier to turn them on and off, but also because the lamp kits that I have wired to these gas lamps, they have those old school like twist knob on and off switches, which are covered by the glass chimneys that you see on those lamps. And I didn't want to continue to just take the glass chimneys on and off to be able to turn the lights on and off. So it just made sense to use a smart plug with these lamps. Now, I went into this an amateur. I didn't really know a lot about the Amazon Alexa smart devices or the capabilities that they have or the capabilities of the application on my phone. But the more I kind of like dove into it, the more I was starting to think, wow, I can really use this technology all throughout the room to make magic happen, which is really what I've been like really just mulling over different ways to use this technology to make awesome things happen in the room. Now, I'm always talking about Universal Studios in Orlando, and if you've been there, you know that they sell these interactive wands throughout the park, and you can go up to windows within Diagon Alley and within Hogsmeade, and there's medallions on the ground, and they have the shape of a spell, and you make that shape and say an incantation or a spell out loud, and you use this interactive wand, and it makes things happen within these windows. There's like animatronic elements that go on and off, and it looks like you're casting spells or you're doing magic. And I always knew that I wanted to feature that in this room, and I didn't really know how. But now that I've got this knowledge of Amazon Alexa and the Alexa app and how to create routines and all of this knowledge that I've gained about this technology, I've realized this is how I'm going to do it. Now, there are several people out there who use their own wands at home. They've got like Xbox Connects hooked up all over their house, and they can use their wands to power things and turn them off and turn them on. And I don't have that kind of knowledge, nor do I have those resources, nor do I have the budget to make something like that happen. So this is perfect for me, and it's still really, really cool. Normally with a smart plug or like a smart light bulb, you just would say, Alexa, turn on the lights, or Alexa, turn off the lights. But what I've learned is with routines that you can set up within the Alexa app, you can really customize that. So it doesn't have to be as plain as telling Alexa to turn on or off a light. And there's so much customization within there. Granted, some of the things are limited. Like for instance, you can change the wake word. Like you've noticed I've been saying Alexa over and over, and my speaker isn't acknowledging that because I've changed the wake word. But when I say there's limitations, there's like 5 different wake words you can choose from. You can't make one up. So I've chosen a different wake word for my smart speaker. And with the routines, you can use a different word to make things happen. Instead of just saying lights on, you can put a word in there that signifies that's what this word means. Do this. So let me just show you. For instance, with the wall sconces, I've set it up to where all I have to do is say, Echo, Incendio. And the lights will come on. Now, you've heard my wake word, and I'm not going to say it over and over because my speaker's going to keep going off. But also, you may have noticed that there's a sound effect that goes off before the lights turn on. All of that can be done within the routines section on the app. And I'm going to show you guys how I did that a little more in depth because I do have a new prop that I've made to work with this stuff to make magic happen in the room. And I'm going to show you like a screen recording of how you set these routines up, what that looks like. Now the routine for the sconces is quite simple. There's just a wake word to turn the lights on and a wake word to turn the lights off. Now, I used Incendio, which is fire, to make fire happen in the Harry Potter movies. And as you can see, the light bulbs are there to simulate fire. Now, the opposite of that incantation is finite. However, it won't recognize finite. I've tried spelling it differently. I've tried pronouncing it differently. It just doesn't work. So for now, Echo, Nox. I know that's going to upset some people. I know it is because it's not correct. However, that's what I have to work with. And I'm going to be using Lumos to power other smart bulbs within the living room. So to differentiate them between the wall sconces, I'm going to continue to have their wake word be Incendio. I just like it better. I know, like I said, that's probably going to upset a few people, but it's neither here nor there. That's how I'm going to do it. Now today, I wanted to show you guys this new prop that I've made that is the first magical type thing that I'm going to have happen in the room. Now that's cool and that seems magical, but I want like animatronic type elements in the room, different lighting effects and things like that. So I experimented with one and I made it this weekend and I'm ready to show it to you guys. So what I've done is I took this Cauldron and I already had this as a prop on my apothecary cabinet shelf. It's a real little cauldron that I picked up again at a thrift store or a rummage sale or something along those lines. And it came with this stir. But what I thought was, how can I use Alexa and home automation to make this seem like a magical effect in the room? So what I've done is I went and I ordered a reindeer motor. Now, it's called a reindeer motor, but it's essentially a servo motor, really simple servo motor. And they call it a reindeer motor because people have those reindeer in their front yard during Christmas time. And it's just like a wire reindeer that's got Christmas lights all over it. But they plug in, and some of them, the head turns back and forth or it moves up and down. And this motor that I've ordered is a replacement for one of those reindeer. And I found it on, I think it was Amazon for like, I don't know, $17. Super cheap. And what I did was I took it all apart and I drilled a hole in the bottom of my cauldron and I took the wiring off of the reindeer motor and I was able to feed it through this hole in the bottom of the cauldron and rewire it. And then I glued the motor inside and I attached the stir to that motor. So now when it plugs in, it makes the stir spin, as you can see here in the video. Now, what's really cool about this is that instead of having this continuously on, I'm going to hook it up to a smart plug and feature it in one of the cabinets, probably back in the apothecary cabinet. And it'll sit there and just look like an ordinary cauldron until I use a special wake word or spell with my Amazon Alexa. Now I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to create this routine to make this seem like just like I'm going up to a window with an interactive wand in the theme park and making magic happen. I'm going to create a routine, so all I have to do is say, Alexa, do this, or in my case, the other wake word, do this, and it's going to make this turn on. So let me pull up the app on my phone, and I'll show you guys exactly what it looks like to create a routine and how that works. Okay, so I have the Alexa app opened on my phone, and right now it's on the Devices tab. I'm going to go down to the bottom and click on More, and this is going to give me a bunch of additional options, and you can see there it says Routines. So I'm going to open Routines, and you can see I've got a bunch of routines already set in here. The wall sconces, which I showed you before, that's a routine in here. And then also all of my terrarium stuff is set up on routines in here. So I don't have to do any work. It just does it automatically through the app. What I'm going to do is create a routine for this cauldron prop and show you guys how that works. And then we're going to test it. So I'm going to hit the plus sign, and it's going to open New Routine. And I'm going to name it Cauldron Effect. I'm going to hit done, and then I'm going to hit next. And right below the name, it says when this happens, and I'm going to hit the little plus sign there. So when this happens, I'm going to click voice. What that's saying is this is triggered by my voice. So it says Alexa, comma, and I'm going to put locomotor cauldron. Because as you know, locomotor is a spell to make, or an incantation to make things move within the Harry Potter universe. So I think I've got that spelled right. I'm going to hit next. Now, these are the actions that you add. So when I say a locomotor cauldron, what's going to happen? I'm going to hit the plus sign next to action. And the first thing I'm going to do is do a sound effect, like you heard when the sconce is turned on. And I'm going to go under sci-fi because the one that I found that sounds most like I'm casting a spell is called Shields Up under sci-fi. So I've added that and you can see that. That's the first action there, but I can continue adding actions. So I'm going to add another one and I'm going to go to Smart Home. I'm going to go to All Devices, and there right at the top underneath my bedroom TV is Cauldron plug. I'm going to click on that and it's defaulted to on, so I'm going to hit next, and now that action is there as well. What's cool is you can change the order of these actions, so I'm going to hold down on Play's Shield Up and I'm going to drag that to the top because I want that to happen first. Now as I add more actions, it's probably going to get out of place and I'll have to rearrange them again, but I just wanted to show you, you can change the order of these. So I've got it to where I say Locomotor Cauldron, it plays the Shields Up sound, and then the Cauldron plug turns on. What I want to do is scroll down to another action called Wait. Now, I only want it to spin or stir for about 1 minute and 15 seconds, so that's the duration I'm going to choose, and I'm going to hit next, and it adds that wait time in there. Then after 1 minute and 15 seconds, I want it to turn off. So I'm going to add my final action, go back to Smart Home, go to All Devices and the Cauldron plug, but this time I'm going to make it turn off and hit next. So let's see, that defaulted to go to the top. I'm going to drag that down underneath the wait. So now this routine involves when I say, Alexa, Locomotor Cauldron, it's going to play that Shields Up sound, then the plug is going to turn on and make the cauldron spin or stir. It's going to do that for about 1 minute and 15 seconds, and then it's going to turn back off. Now, at the very bottom, it says the device you speak to. That's the default, so that if you have your Alexa set up in several rooms of the house, whatever speaker you say the command word to, it's going to play sounds or acknowledge you through that speaker. But this is only going to be living in our living room, so I'm going to go down and I'm going to select Living Room Echo, so that when I do this, it's only going to happen in the living room. The sound effect is only going to play from the living room speaker, so on and so forth. So I've got everything set up. I'm going to check it here. It's named Cauldron Effect. I've got it to go off when I say, Alexa, Locomotor Cauldron. There's all my steps. Shields Up, Cauldron plug on. It's going to wait for 1 minute and 15 seconds, and then it's going to turn back off. So I'm going to hit Save at the top. It says, Success. It may take up to 1 minute for voice routines to be ready. Okay, and now it's there amongst my other routines that I've already created. So now all I've got to do is plug it into the smart plug and test it, which I'm going to do right now. We're going to check it out. So we've got the Cauldron prop. It is plugged into the smart plug, and you can also see my smart speaker right below that there. We've got our routine created with all of our steps added, all of our actions added. All that's left to do is to test it. Here we go. Echo. Locomotor Cauldron. It played our Shields Up sound effect. The plug turned on and now it is stirring. So it should do this for about 1 minute and 15 seconds. 1 minute and 15 seconds exactly, and then it should turn right back off. And then we'll know that our routine worked correctly and it is good to go. All right, 1 minute and 15 seconds later, and the plug has turned back off. So our routine worked perfectly, and it looks awesome. So that's pretty cool, right? It kind of blows my mind that I was able to do this so simply anyway, and so cheap. You know, this motor, like I said, was only like between $17 and $20 on the internet. The Cauldron prop, I bought that ages ago, and I think I maybe only spent $20 on it as well. And then the plug itself, I think was 14 or 15 bucks on Prime Day. It's normally, I think, 20 or 25. So total, I'm like $50 out, and I've been able to make magic happen. And now this one, like I said, is going to live on the apothecary cabinet, but I'm planning on having a little bit of magic featured in each cabinet. So I'll have several things like this going on in the room, and they're only going to be activated by spells or incantations, which is pretty much what I wanted to have happen. And I'm feeling pretty good about it. I think that's a super cool effect, and it's really going to surprise people. There are some other things that I'll feature. I probably want to have like lighting effects in combination with these things. So where I put the cauldron prop on the shelf in the cabinet, I might have like a pin light above it that's also plugged into the smart plug, and I would add that into the routine. You know, it would turn on the same time that the cauldron does. So it'll shine light on the cauldron, and then it will start stirring. Just kind of draw more attention to that area when it's happening. So super easy to use these. I'm stoked to keep going. And obviously, the more I get done with these cabinets, the more I'm going to feature this stuff. I'm not going to shift all my focus to making this happen. This is just something that I had thought of, and I made it happen, and I wanted to show it and share it with you guys. But yeah, there's going to be a lot more of this. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. I know it was a really quick video. I've got so much going on, so this was about all the amount of time that I had to make a video this weekend. But I appreciate you watching. Subscribe if you're new. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I'm Dylan, and this is what I've been doing. I'll see you guys.